I have no idea what's happening right now. Hopefully, we are live in some form or fashion. We are having technical difficulties tonight, folks. I think YouTube is having some problems. Our show is not live right now on YouTube. I almost think there's something wrong going on with YouTube. If anyone is watching this, post in the comment section on where you are watching. Because we have no
Boom.
idea what's going on.
Boom.
Let's see. What do the comments say? Where are people watching, Vince?
I don't
Okay.
know.
People
I'm
say
back on.
people say it's on YouTube. So we're gonna go ahead. Hopefully, where everyone's watching us. I literally am on YouTube right now and don't see it working. But people say it's on. I'm gonna believe them.
I'm gonna refresh my screen here and see what I get. But yeah, it says it's waiting. It's waiting for it to go live.
Yeah, but people in the chat, let's just go on. Let's roll.
It ain't working
People, Don Capes and Fatal Jedi both say we're on, and we're on YouTube right now.
on YouTube.
Yes.
Mm. Hold
What a
please.
day to be alive on the Garnet Old Show. Because when I go on YouTube right now, I don't see any video going. But you know what? I have no idea, Vince. It's the Garnet Old Show, 7 o'clock or ish, 7 o'clock ish, Thursday. No inside info, no streaming, no problem. I am one of your hosts, Big Papa East, alongside VC Knoll. Yes, Facebook we know is not working tonight. We are having problems with the stream today, guys. So
Not
we
us.
are we are
We're gonna
struggling.
practice. We are gonna practice blameful problem solving here. Facebook's having a problem when we try to start the stream, so we cut that out. It looks to be. I think it's working. Um, but yeah.
Yes,
So
we are
no
live on
inside.
YouTube. I can see it now, so we're good.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Okay. Ready? Take two. Go, Ryan.
The Garnet Old Show, 7 o'clock. I'm Ryan. That's Vince. What a win!
What a
What a
win.
win. Vince, I don't know about you, but for the last 5 days, I can't tell you how many replays, TikToks, other podcasts, other YouTube, mostly Alabama loving podcasts, or national shows and videos and TikToks that I have watched just to kind of still bask. Because normal games, if we had played Wake Forest, last weekend, you win, you're glad, you celebrate on Monday, and then it's on to the next opponent. But when you beat Alabama with how much went into that game, with how much was unknown about that game, and all the fanfare, and you win that game, you have to bask. I call it the week long bask. You just get in the bath and you just swim in it. So Vince, I know you're doing some swimming like I am. You're just kind of waddling in the water. You're just hanging out, right?
Yeah. Speaking of water, Ryan, going in the water. A gentleman that goes in the water a lot would be Captain John Black, who is the premier charter fishing captain from Panama City Beach. I saw I saw him at the game. He didn't see me, but I saw him. He was decked out in his gold wig
Whoa.
and his gold lame suit. And so I saw him, and I have to ask him if he's just because he might be basking in the glow all week. Maybe he's still wearing the gear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but even if he's not, give him a call. So let me go back to what you were saying. Um, yeah, it took me like up until Tuesday evening to kind of come down off the high. Ryan, as you
Mm-hmm.
know, this past weekend was your boy's 55th birthday.
Happy birthday. That's a big one.
Happy birthday.
Garnet and very old.
uh, my cousin in Afghanistan is celebrating it with me. Um, but what a weekend. The birthday was great. Got a lot of people reaching out to me. And most of the time when they reach out to me, they say, what a present. What a present to get. It was an unexpected present.
Much like Super
And
Chats.
yeah, much like super chats. Yeah. Um,
Now, it
but yeah,
wasn't
I'm so,
unexpected for all of us, Vince. I just want to point out one thing. As Jeremy from Rock and Roll points out, Great pick, Ryan, and thanks again for your help this week, Vince. So, Vince, continue on with your basking and your reliving this week, but also know your boy, Big Papa East, predicted the Dubs. You know,
I know you did. I know you did. Hey, I'm not going to take that away from you. You stepped out on a limb and you picked them. So good for you, brother.
but I think it's time, Vince. We actually have a surprise for some people.
We do. Before you do that, give me one final moment here because I want to make sure we let everybody know we are going to give away some memberships tonight.
I think Vince isn't actually looking at memberships. I think he's watching on a side screen the replay of the game for the 100th time and watching
No, I'm not.
Squirrel White and Mackay. By the way, every play,
Okay.
no matter insignificant or not, Tessitore was, man, and what a play! And you'd be like, for a gain of 2, Florida.
I make fun of him all the time on Twitter. He should be the spokesman for Luden's cough drops.
Yeah.
Because the man has never seen a play that is not the most exciting play he's ever seen in his whole life. Speaking of exciting, Ryan, we've got a special guest tonight.
We do. We have a special guest. None other than...
Welcome to the program. Welcome back to the program. One of our staples, and we haven't had him on this season. We didn't have him on much last season either. There wasn't a lot to talk about in terms of...
Yeah, the math was not mathing on any game last year. So.
There wasn't a lot of math going on. There was bad math. It was fuzzy math. But Parker Rawlin, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you here, and I'll just do a quick intro for him. Parker is a football analyst for Championship Analytics and is a longtime family friend. He happens to be in the biz. When I talk about on the show how we know people that are in the biz, Parker's the guy that I'm talking about. Welcome to the show, Parker.
Parker, tell the people what you do.
Without giving away too much, and I'm sure I've talked about this on the show before, but it was a long time ago. Can't really name clients because teams like to keep that like to themselves. They don't want other teams getting an advantage. So I can't say like who I cover, but the company does football analytics, data analytics on strategy for teams at the high school, college, FBS, and FCS, as well as some NFL teams as well. And the main goal of the company is to help coaches make better, more data-driven decisions. And that's become increasingly more important in recent years with more data becoming available and teams wanting to gain an edge in any way that they can. So we tend to be a lot of coaches' first calls when they get to a new stop because they want to make sure that they can stay with us or that we can stay with them and help them win games because that is something we do quite a bit is help teams win games. And think we tell teams every year we have a metric that using us, yes, 4th and 1 is on our side. So using us tends to get you one more win a year on average, but that was, I don't remember the last time we've run that study for sure, but that's the main selling point to teams is that we give teams strategies, whether it's 4th downs, those get a lot of coverage. I mean, people who do know what I do and they try to explain it to other people, they're just like, oh, he's the guy who helps teams with 4th downs. So that's a big part of it. But 2-point conversions are another big part. Timeout usage is a big part. Overall strategy, like we can get into a little bit of team schematics, but we're not going to go much into that because that's ultimately something that you kind of have to leave up to the coordinators who make those decisions. So hopefully that is a decent enough intro background into me without taking too much time.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I'll just give you some anecdotal information about my experiences with Parker on a game day. Is that Parker doesn't necessarily get to sit down and enjoy games maybe the way he used to back in the old days because he's working constantly. So last week, I think it was last week, yeah, I called him and said, "Hey, you want to come on the show tonight?" And he's like, "I can't do it. There's like 85 games on last Thursday night." And
Yeah,
and
there are a
so
lot.
there were a lot of games. There are none tonight because the pros start tonight. But as far as college games that I know of, there are none going on this evening.
That is correct.
So before we get to whether the math is mathin' from this past weekend, I'm going to throw something up here in the chat or to the people in the chat and just say, when Florida State lined up on the 4th and 1 on their own 34-yard line, what was your thought? Those of you in the chat, what would you have done? And be honest. It's easy to hindsight say, yeah, I definitely would have gone for it. But for those of you that are in the chat, I want to see you post it in the comment section. What would you have done? Okay, so we'll wait for those to come through. Ryan, you want to go first? What would you have done?
As they were quickly getting to the line, and it became aware that we were going for it, I stood up and said, "No, what are you doing? No, we're winning the game right now. If you turn it over, Alabama has all the momentum this on the second half of the game. This is how we lose the game." And the very next second was, "And they pick up the first down." And I turned to my wife. I turned around and I said, "They got bigger balls than I do. I would have never gone for that, but good on them. Thank God. Let's go." And that is still my take on it. I would have never in that situation, me personally, knowing nothing about analytics or data, would have had the stones. Even if someone told me, "Hey, the data says," if Parker radios in my ear, "Hey, Ryan, it's a go," I would say, "No, absolutely not. No, this is a coaching call. I'm not going to." But I'm glad they did, because after the fact, Monday morning quarterback, you get to say, "Oh, of course that was a great call." And it turns out, in my opinion, that was what sealed the game, was that call.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that here. We're going to click through these slides. Before we do that, we've got our first super chat of the night from Dawn Capes. Thank you, Dawn, for watching the show tonight out in Panama City Beach. We appreciate that. And that goes toward our goal of $50 tonight or 10 super chats. So that we're getting closer to our goal there. So how this is going to work, earlier this week, I went on another show with our buddy Jeremy, Rock and Noel, and we were talking about this play, and I shouted Parker out, and I said, "Parker, I want to know the detail. I want you to write me a thesis on why 4th and 1, whether the math was mathing." And he did. He actually wrote me a very lengthy thing, and we are going to look at that here right now. He also sent me video clips, of which I cannot play because we will get a copyright strike. So let's just go ahead and set the stage here, Parker.
Yeah, sure. Before starting with that play, I feel like it would be a disservice to not mention what happened on the previous drives in the second half, because it got off to a quick start with Florida State. I think they punted first, then got a stop on Alabama, and then that's when the reload mesh to Jalen Lucas went first really long play, and then they punched it on the next one. After that, Alabama had extended drives. So that's one of the things I'm going to talk about is when you're thinking, especially as commentators, they'll do this too, is when you're thinking about a 4th down and you say, "Oh, just punt, force them to drive the ball, trust your defense, whatever," you have to understand that that's not a certainty. And I'll talk about that, but referencing the previous Alabama drives, they had scored a field goal and a touchdown. and that cut the lead to 7, which is what it is here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Florida State was up, and they had another drive late in the third quarter where we leaned towards a go for it past midfield. And I didn't want to talk about this today because it was kind of close and it's kind of under the bridge. Like, you kind of want to leave this up to coaches' discretion. And I don't know what, of course, Malzahn and Norvell's thought process was. I wish I could. That'd be really interesting to hear those two very different perspectives on analytics. But they ended up punting the ball. No one talks about this, by the way. You're never going to hear an announcer talk about how a punt went wrong. The punt goes into the end zone. They get minimal value out of the punt.
Right.
So it goes for a touchback. They do get a stop. Jalen Lucas fumbles the punt. They get another drive starting near midfield. Then you get a stop. But of course, you're like, all right, so see, that punt works out. What you don't think about is that next fourth down that Florida State faced was nowhere near as convenient or close to sustaining that drive, because it was like fourth and something long after Castellanos took the sack at the beginning of the fourth quarter. It was 4th and 17.
Right.
So your options before Alabama scored that touchdown to make it a 1-touchdown game was a 4th and 4, I believe, in plus territory, and a 4th and 17. But you don't hear them talk about it. So going back to this one now, I can start with the 4th and 1 conversion rate in the open field is 73%.
Yeah, let me get to that.
So in the open field, it's 73%. Back to 10 years, it was 71%, but it changes based on if you're the home team. You can look at it based on Alabama. Either way, it hovers around that 69%, and it can go up when you have a smaller sample size of like Alabama playing on the road has given it up 83% of the time. The point is it's a highly convertible down. It's very probable that you pick it up, and to think about it as a big risk is also kind of lazy, because you're just thinking that as soon as that ball is turned over, you start pretend it's on the 34-yard line. The team has Alabama would have a less than likely chance of going for a touchdown, but they are more likely to score, albeit than had they started from like the 20 or the 30-yard line of their own. So if you want to consider it a very, very risky decision, which is how Jesse Palmer phrased it, you should also understand that you have a 32% chance of giving up a score anyway on that ensuing Alabama drive, which I think would be likely, and you'd have to take into consideration if they were already proving from the beginning of the game that they could sustain drives. And really the only thing that was stopping them was when the field got short and Florida State got stops either in the red zone or just outside of it.
Right. So
a question on this real quick.
Go ahead.
I want to, Parker, in these kind of situations, especially I'm looking at the time remaining, which was 9 minutes, 20 seconds. Is there ever a thought to, okay, even if you turn it over and Bama scores, it's tying the game, and based on time analytics, we would have likely the final potential scoring drive. Is that ever factored into this?
Yes, and later in the quarter, yes, that can factor into it and let you be more aggressive. But here, pretty much anywhere, any time remaining here in the second half, really, even in the game, it's a 4th and 1. So we recommend that a lot. And the thing that kind of goes over people's heads, like a couple years ago, Nick Saban said that, yeah, the analytics don't factor in like a turnover, the effect of a turnover. And surprised he doesn't know. That's just flat wrong. I mean, we don't have consistent go ranges all across the field. They go down. You have less recommendations and longer yardages the further you get into minus territory. So that's kind of frustrating to hear, and like for announcers to like pretend like this is the first ever 4th and 1 they've ever seen in minus territory. Like, if you thought that was crazy, go watch Kalen DeBoer in the Apple Cup a couple of years ago to help his team get into the playoff. Because I can tell you, if you don't think Alabama would have gone for it in that same spot, I think even as spectators, you would prefer their punt team. Like, if you're a Florida State fan and you see Alabama with a 4th and 1, I think you want them to get their punt team on the field, because you know how convertible that down is.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 71%. The trepidation I had with it was the fact that I'm still thinking about last year and how inept we were at running the ball. So even though I see the 71%, I'm still thinking, okay, with the way our luck has been going, we are going to be the 29%, right? But that's not the way it worked out. And as a fan of, like you just said, and I didn't really think about it this way till you just said it. When a team lines up to go for it on fourth, I'm always hoping that they punt. I never want them to go for it because there's the chance that they're going to make it. And just think about it from that standpoint. As the opposition, you always want them to give the ball up. And as an aggressor, you want to keep the ball as much as you can.
Yeah. Another thing to mention is this was 4th and half a yard, closer to 4th and inches than it was like a full yard or a yard and a half that you'll see sometimes. But that just goes and makes it an even more probable conversion, really.
Parker, how do you like
this
the
really
play
digs
call
in here
itself, the actual play design?
I really liked what Malzahn. Sorry, this is probably getting more into schematics, but I do like the question because I was at PFF, and so this is something I would look at when I was with them is like offensive scheme, and I really liked. I mean, I think Norvell did this too to some point, but Malzahn did this a lot where he would pull. I think it was Pittman. It didn't matter. Whatever the tight end was that would motion in, and they kind of. If you were able to play the video and you go back and watch it, there's a lot of communication before the snap, and he's asking if he wants to split back and trap the edge defender on the play. And I think that's really underlooked because when I see 4th and 1 conversions fail, like when I think about the Florida State Duke missed conversion 2 years ago at home, I think of teams getting a jump on the snap and getting like around to the ball carrier without having to like jump a gap or shoot a gap or anything. So I like when teams can get downhill and not have to worry about like things not in their line of sight. Like if you can trust what's not in your vision and you can just focus on what's ahead of you and getting downhill, I think that makes for a much easier conversion. And it helps when I think everyone knows that like Florida State was getting a lot of push from their line and vice versa on the defense. They were also holding their lines very well and their gaps very well, which is good to see. Very different from last year. And I would also add on to Vince's thing that's understandable, to be nervous after you have a year like that and that you're lying in the lower extremities of conversions. And so like this one, like if I say it's 73%, I'm sure fans feel like they're going to be lying in the lower 27% of teams that don't convert that because that's what happened last year. The only thing I would respond to that with is even if they aren't working and even if it is a missed conversion, I think it's very important to understand that you're operating in the decision making that gives you the best chance to win. So while
there's no doubt,
you understand that like there's a risk there, and I know Norvell does. I know he has the understanding that there are times where the analytics are overwhelmingly in favor of something, and you have to go with that route because it's the winning decision.
If you had $2, the last $2 to your name in your pocket, and you were going in to the Wawa, and you were like, I have $2. I'm either going to buy a pretzel or I'm going to get a Powerball ticket, and I'm going to have a 71% chance of winning the Powerball. I think I'm skipping the pretzel. I'm going for the ticket. What about the next bullet here? This one floored me. So Alabama, defense, Alabama, they're the greatest thing that's ever lived. Versus Alabama, look at how high these numbers are for teams converting a 4th and 1 against them.
Right. Right. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter who the team is. It is a highly probable and very offensively favorable down, even when you're playing against superior competition. So that's something that teams just have to. I mean, the 83%, just to be honest, I mean that's a lower sample size, so they probably don't give up that. Like if you look at it over time, but in the last 10 years, when they're on the road and the other team has a 4th and 1, and they're at home. I mean, you don't have to worry about a messed up cadence. You don't have to worry about someone not understanding the snap count. You have more control over that, I think. So that's probably what influences higher conversion rates at home compared to on the road.
The next bullet you have here, I think, takes into account what you were saying. Is if you did punt and the other team got it at the 34, is that correct? Is that what we're looking at here?
Yeah, yeah. So they have, I mean, they have a better chance than if they had gotten the ball back on their own 20 or their own 30, of course. But when you think about it, and when commentators phrase it like this, is you turn the ball over right here. Alabama's got all the momentum. They score, and then it's a one possession game. Okay, well, you just made a giant leap and a logical fallacy by just straight jumping to the worst possible conclusion. And you can see, and I can prove from the data, teams score less than half the time when getting the ball right there at the 34-yard line. And while they do score, I think, what would that be, 2 in every 3 drives, they're still going to score 1 in every 3 drives if they had started back,
Right.
assuming the punt went for the standard net yardage that it goes for FBS teams.
So all these analytics are available, obviously, to the coaches, and I'm sure, I think you told us before, it's this huge book. It's this huge binder.
You can see it on sidelines. If you watch closely, you will see teams either in the booth or on the sideline. I'm not going to name teams, but you can look for it.
Yeah.
It comes up just about every week, as you'll see the charts with all the heat maps, and that's us if you see those.
The beauty of what happened on Saturday is that there was no hesitation at all. Like, it wasn't like they had to think. They had already made the decision that this is what they were going to do, and they were confident in that. And that just, to me, that's also just another indicator of confidence that the whole team has, the whole program has right now, right? So the commentators were shocked that they went for it. And I think, when Ryan, you said, it kind of sealed the game in a large way, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to. Yeah, I don't know if you want to jump to the next ones, but those go back to a point I made previously: is assuming there is little or no risk in punting the ball. And this situation right here was the Peach Bowl, and what some people considered the national championship for this season. Ohio State had an opportunity on 4th and 1 from their own 34, same spot as Florida State, and they originally faked a punt, but Georgia called one of the greatest non-time sensitive timeouts ever to stop the fake. And then after the timeout, Ohio State punted away. And no one talks about this, but they forfeited a 4th and 1, very good chance to extend their drive, probably put this game away with a score on this drive. I mean, a field goal would have made it 14. So yeah, they would have been very favorable to win the game after this. But they punt the ball on the very first play. Stetson Bennett throws an 80-yard touchdown to Arian Smith. And the commentators don't talk about anything like, man, could you imagine they gone for it on that 4th down? I mean, just a missed opportunity. No, it's all about like how Georgia scored, and they don't mention anything at all. And I don't think people bring this up enough. If you go to the next one, there's one that should be familiar for Florida State fans. And this probably isn't the 4th down people think of when they see this game, but Miami had a chance to not quite put the game away. They would need another 1st down after this, but they had a 4th and 1 at their own 46 and punted the ball. And similar to the Ohio State-Georgia game, Jordan Travis throws like a 70-yard bomb to Ja'Kai Douglas on a slot fade up the right side. I'm sure everyone remembers that. And then it ends up to that 4th and 14, and they convert it to Parchment, and then they score a couple plays later after a few sneaks. And everyone talks about the 4th and 14, but it's never mentioned how Miami had a chance to win with a conversion here. Of course, I mean, that's against Jermaine Johnson and all those guys who were really good that year, despite maybe an underwhelming season. But they still had a really good chance to convert and just didn't even try, voluntarily gave up possession, and all that field position was wiped away in like 7 seconds.
Nice. To see the coaching staff of Miami mess something up is normal. And I'm glad our coaching staff, not that they don't screw things up, because we all do, but it's always pleasant to watch Mario not do what the logic tells you to do, whether it's this or deciding to take a knee.
Yeah, this was Manny Diaz this year.
Oh, this was
but
Manny Diaz. That's correct. That's correct. Good call. Good call on that.
Yeah, so I think that's it. All I had on the 4th and 1 stuff. But if you're fine moving on, we can go to the clock management stuff too.
Yep, let's do it.
So I'll preface by saying going into the game, as an underdog, you want to slow your pace of play. But I knew that that's not how this offense would operate. I think everyone knows,
Yeah.
like, that's not how a Malzahn offense would operate. And I kind of accept that you absorb risk playing as the underdog, but I think it's worth it if it ensures greater offensive success, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So if you look here, I was fine with on this drive. This was after the 4th and 1 conversion. I was fine on this drive with how they moved and how quickly they snapped the ball. They had a quick pace of play still, and I know this wasn't popular among the fans, at least from people that texted me. I was kind of fine up until it got to the Alabama injury timeout, because coming out of that timeout, both teams are already set. So you don't gain an advantage by going quick. I mean, both teams are ready. So that's one where I was kind of like, I don't know about that. But I mean, the play went for a touchdown too, so it kind of saves Alabama a timeout in that situation. But on the next drive, if you want to go to the next clip, starting on this possession, every single play on this possession where there were less than 5 minutes remaining and they were up by 2 scores, they did a really good job of snapping the ball with like 1 or 2 seconds on the play clock. So I would hope that that's something that fans could kind of accept or take solace in, is that when it really matters, this is something that they can do, and they're willing to go this route to burn the clock. But yeah, I mean, I get that it's frustrating because you don't want to lose the game. I guess you're playing to like ensure that it's close, I guess, from a fan perspective, because the worst thing you can imagine is they go quick, they turn the ball over, and Alabama saves a lot of time and gets the score that goes down by a possession. But I think they did a really good job of balancing that desire into the first clip of going for the score to help put the game away with 2 scores, and then adjusting their preference on this drive by saving time.
Yeah. No, I got you on that. That makes sense to me too. I didn't feel necessarily as comfortable when it was a 7-point lead to start bleeding the clock. I think you needed more points. But when it's up 2 scores, yeah, that's when it's time. And, kudos for running the clock, 4-minute drill. And then you're pretty much taking a knee for the last 2 minutes of the game. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it allowed everybody in the stands to enjoy every snap of the last 2 minutes of the game and not have to worry about anything. It was a bit of a master class there, I think, from the coaches on down to the players.
Yeah. Also, to ease fan opinions on this drive as well, there was talk in the broadcast booth about how Jalen Lucas went out of bounds with like 2:24 left. And Jesse Palmer goes, I mean, I feel like I keep ragging on them. I feel like Joe Tessitore especially does a really good job of what his job is, and that's to hype games up, and that's to call the game. And I think he does a really good job with that. I just think with all broadcast booths, sometimes the discussion on strategy lacks. And I think there were several times in this game, and to mention this drive, Jesse Palmer said, see, that's a teachable moment because Jalen Lucas went out of bounds and that stops the clock. And while he's talking, the clock restarts because it's still outside of 2 minutes. And
that's correct. That's correct.
And of course, Alabama calls their last timeout, and like it just goes under the rug.
I do want to mention, for the nearly 150 people watching on X right now, head over to YouTube, type in Garnet Old, and join the live stream over there where you can ask questions and subscribe so you don't miss any of our shows. We do the show every Thursday at 7 o'clock. So for most of you who are watching on X, I know we had a few issues with the stream head on over to YouTube. Garnet and Old is the channel, and watch us there so we can interact with you a little bit more. That was your friendly PSA for the day.
Friendly PSA. It helps the channel out a lot, and we're going to be giving away 5 memberships here before the evening is over, which is another reason
it started the broadcast, ended it, showed one video basically with 0 watches, 0 views on YouTube and on X, and then restarted with brand new feeds and brand new everything. So I had to do some cleaning up on the actual social.
I gotcha. So that is the current link I put in the chat there. So if you're in
no
X,
one will see that though, unless they're already on YouTube.
Are you sure this doesn't go to X? Well, I'll just post it in X then.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they see our comments, but I'm just want to bring up. Join us on YouTube.
Good point.
Have some fun with us.
Let's see. We move on here. Oh yeah. So this is just a joke here. So when I asked Parker for the thesis, this is what he sent me. These are all the notes. These are all the notes.
Yeah, you got my APA format at the top too.
APA format at the top. GNO 101 is the course here. I'm not a doctor, but I play one here. But Parker, thanks for digging all this up. And I know it's your job, and it probably is. You're like, gosh, I can't believe I got to deal with this stuff, even though it's my job. But I think it's a good thing that we try to enlighten some of the older people like me that still think every time you got a 4th down, you should be punting the ball away. I mean, I've graduated from that. I don't believe that now, but there was a time where like, what are we doing? Not anymore. I'm pretty much a go for it most of the time guy.
Yeah, I will say it's also tough to operate without the benefit of hindsight for people. So there have been times in the past where people have jumped on Norvell when a conversion goes sideways, and like the Notre Dame game where Travis threw an interception on on our own 33-yard line, and then they got a quick score. I feel like he took a lot of heat for that, but he doesn't get like as much credit, I guess, for when it does work out. And I wish people understood that it's the right decision pre-snap, and no matter what happens after doesn't change that. Because no matter what happens, I mean, it was like, what's that song? Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me.
Oh yeah. Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all want me.
Yeah, that one.
That's Fat Joe. Back Then by Fat Joe. That's your millennial reference of the day. Thank you for that, Parker. You brought me down back to high school when I was dancing to prom to that song.
Yep, absolutely.
Anybody that's watching on X, I'm popping into the actual comments on the live feed and putting the link to the YouTube down there. So if you want to pop over to YouTube, that way you get an opportunity to get a membership when we give those away in a few minutes.
And just explain, you're right.
What's that?
Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones? No, that's absolutely right. Not Fat Joe. Mike Jones.
Ryan, why don't you do some shout outs? We got a lot of people here.
Yeah, Spiratics in the house, of course. Kenny Trill. That Chad. I'm going to say that. Hopefully I did that right. Did not murder that.
The
King
Chad.
Spleen. Yeah, Cody Johnson. Friends call me Sean. I'm trying to get through all of them. Fatal Jedi. Eric D. Nick Snyder. Suzanne Bijou, which I always think is fancy. So many people. You've already read the super chat. So many people watching. Football, by the way, for those of you who aren't aware, the entire summer, Vince, I'm talking from the end of the last terrible football season till a month ago, our subscriber count was exactly flat.
It was crazy flat.
We would gain 5, lose 5, and it was kind of like that all summer. Football season is back when overnight, I think we're at 80 subscribers in the last week. So thank you guys so much. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much, because we do this every week. We do pregame, postgame, weekly show, all the fun stuff, and it's good to have. It's funny how emotional and excited people are to watch FSU content when we win. How about that?
Yeah, and you can even have a bunch of technical, problems, have to restart your streams, and people still watch, because when times are good, times are good. times are definitely good right now. I got a message from Captain John Black after the game. He said, "Hey, do you want to get my notes on the show or on the game?" I was like, "Sure. Send me the notes." Captain John Black has some background in sports and athletics and coaching as well. And so I've got a couple bullets here, and as I talk about them, I will reference whether they are a captain's log, star date September or August 30th, when Florida State beat Bama pretty badly. So one thing he says here is Tommy gives Mike Vick vibes. He's elusive, multiple gears, and turns broken plays into highlights. I watched a show a little bit ago, earlier today. It's the one with David Pollock. I think it's his show.
With Gus?
With Gus. Did you watch that?
3 hours ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I watched that, and Gus brought it up. He makes wrong things right sometimes. Tommy does, right? So when things weren't going right, he righted them. So I think we all can agree with that. I think the bottom line is that John Black brought up to me, and I think we all saw this. You've got discipline on that team, you've got speed on that team, and you've got leadership on that team. All those three things together means this team is dangerous, and it is the polar opposite of last year's team.
I do want to shout out one thing, Vince, speaking of the team. The #1 viewed video on our channel of the year was you streaming the Marching Chiefs Skull Session, and that is awesome. We can't monetize it because it's copyright, stuff that they do. But the amount of people, Vince, I was floored. So well done, sir. Keep doing it. People want to see it. And I will say your camera work was impeccable.
Yeah. It was a little tricky. I'll just give you guys a caveat. If you've not watched this call session or if you have not tuned into the stream, it's a little tricky. One of the things that caught me off guard on Saturday was I was down toward the front of the seats, and the sun finally came out, and the sun was beating on my phone, and my phone overheated right at the last part. So I have to find a more shaded spot to stream from. But we do have that stream already ready to go for this Saturday. We'll be streaming the Chiefs at 9:45-ish. And yeah, like you said, Ryan, I was floored by the amount of people that watched that stream. It was 1,400 views total at this point, but it was, at the time, it was climbing into the 800s and 900s live. So
yeah, not our best video
impressive.
of all time, but of the last 12 months, which I know we're competing against the likes of a 2-10 football team coverage. But it was refreshing because we haven't seen, what was our best video ever? 10,000, I think, was our best video ever. So that is definitely a top 10 video on the Garnet Old channel. I just wanted to give you the kudos because it was well shot and well done, sir.
Thank you. Why do we do it, Ryan? Because the Chiefs deserve it, but also there's a lot of people that can't go to the games. And one of the things they miss about the games is just being there and seeing not just seeing the game, but being among the things that are going on, whether it's Legacy Walk or Skull Session or whatever. It's just a way to get people connected with the game day if you can't be there.
Exactly. I enjoyed it, and I'm not even I don't even know much about marching bands, and I still watched it because it got me in the vibe. I think that's what that's what the Chiefs really do, is they get people in the mood to take part in the Florida State experience, and that's for the everyman who aren't music majors. It's like walking in. You walk into your favorite bar or restaurant, and it has a distinct smell, that certain cigar smoke or that certain bourbon, and it puts you in the frame of mind. I think that's what the Chiefs do, is they put you in the frame of mind to watch an ass kicking.
Yeah, there was a TikTok video of some Alabama cheerleaders, and they were sitting down, and the war chant was playing behind them, and the words on the screen were, it's the temptation of doing the war chant, like they were trying not to do it, and all of a sudden they started doing the war chant. That immediately got pulled, by the way. That's no longer there. But it's an addictive thing. It's a hype thing. They get my heart racing when I hear them. And speaking of, yes, my heart monitor went off on my watch at the beginning of the game. Basically said, "Hey, what's going on? You've been standing still, but your heart rate is at 120. What's the deal?" So Steve Jobs is looking after me here. What else? So we already did all the analytics stuff, and Parker, you are top notch with that. But Parker, tell me about. Let's put all the analytics away. Tell me about your experiences on Saturday.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. I was wondering if I was going to get to talk about stuff besides my work, but
yeah.
Yeah, I obviously met up with you before the game at the tailgate, and I mean, I don't quite have that sixth sense like you do about how like a campus is going to feel or like how a stadium's going to be like once I get into town. I got in there earlier in the week. Got to do some work down at my sister's and got to go play some golf at the Seminole Legacy course. And that's a really nice course. Didn't get a chance to play it. Designed by Jack Nicklaus. But on the game day, hung out with you guys at the tailgate, watched a little bit of the disastrous Ohio State-Texas game that, it's so interesting how a game can end like, I don't remember what it was, like 17-7 in the ACC championship, and everyone's like, that was the worst game I've ever seen. And then like we're without football for 7 months, and we're treating that game like, thank goodness football's back. Like that's kind of crazy. Like,
but hey, Parker, don't you besmirch the Texas Longhorns because they, despite that game, are still number one in FPI. Just want to let you know that.
Yeah, I wish they didn't do rankings or try to do anything like power or even the AP poll for a couple weeks. That's something Rachel and I talked about on the way back home from Tallahassee is like, why don't they just delay putting out the rankings until, the AP doesn't matter. I mean, it's the CFP poll that matters, and that's a separate issue on how those are decided because it seems more emotional than logical. But yeah, I wish they would hold off on rankings, especially the power rankings, because they use a lot of preseason metrics and past season performance, which they have to do because they don't have anything to go on. But I wish people knew like the low predictability of these power rankings so early in the season. And because I have to do similar things with similar metrics, I can say that these aren't as, I feel like these measures and these variables they use aren't impactful or aren't statistically relevant until it's like week 6 or week 7. And then like, okay, you can start crapping out whatever you want for people to read. But I wish they would hold that off. But back to Vince's question, I went to the tailgate and then the skull session that you guys talked about. Shout out to Screech. I'm obviously biased, but I thought they did a really good job. Loved their rendition of Creep. Then I had to go back to the car to submit a report because one of the teams from Friday was needing their report about mid-afternoon. So I had to go back to the car for that. And then going into the game, I was fortunate to be able to sit in the Champions Club, which I would recommend for people who have fun socializing at games, but not people who like to spectate games and understand what's going on because depth is really difficult. But yeah, the game was really exciting. My voice was not gone at the end of it like yours was, Vince. I'm more of a clapper to make noise, and my heart rate was not up, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe I've just felt like I've seen everything in terms of Florida State and national football. So I don't know. Maybe not as much stuff surprises me anymore. But I can say I wasn't expecting a win going into the game. So anyone who did can take credit if they want. But I feel like the vast majority of people didn't expect a win, and I feel like that makes the environment a lot looser, a lot louder, and a lot more fun. So despite the downsize in capacity, I thought fans did a really good job of making noise. I thought the Chiefs did a really good job. I really went in on the DJ and the game entertainment staff or game day like environment crew last year and their like surveys that they would send out after the game. So I don't know, maybe that was good that I maybe played a small part in that change, but I know some backstory on like the new people they got, so I know that that's going to stay the same, and there's a
Yeah.
lot more cohesiveness between the Chiefs and the game event staff, especially the um, video monitor and the DJ. I know those are more cooperative than they were in past years, where the football team decided that we're just going to play this one song on third down, and the Chiefs just have to wait for their turn, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm going to throw some comments up here, Ryan. Fatal Jedi lives in Birmingham. He's living the good life right now. He's got bragging rights all year now. Fatal Jedi also turned 55. Just so happy birthday to you, sir. Nick Snyder says that was the loudest Doak has ever been. His voice is still shot.
Vince, I need
I did
to
not
call out
see-
my man Nick.
What's that?
Call out my man Nick. Nick, where you been, my man?
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen
You
Nick
were here
in
every
quite a
week,
while.
and now you just drop in like it's a casual, just a cat. You know, he's like what's his name from Seinfeld, who quits and leaves, and then shows up the next day. He's like, "What? Quit? I didn't quit." You know, you guys are
Right.
crazy.
Kenny Trill says to go for it on 4th or 3 or shorter all the time. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Let's see here. Fatal Jedi, I was skeptical, but the offense has been moving well, or had been moving well. That's the answer to the question when I asked, what did everybody think when they lined up to go for it on 4th down? Chris Frazier, by the way, predicted that Florida State would score 31 points and that they would win. I don't know what his final overall score was, but I remember him picking 31 to something. Let's see what we got here. Scrolling through. Oh, Nick asked, where does this win rank for you all in the regular season? That's a great question.
That is a good one. It's got to be top 5 for me. Got to be. Now, Vince, you're
I
the
think
old
so.
part of
No, I
Garnet
think
Old,
so.
You've seen more.
I think so. I think it's top 5. It's going to be tough for me to compare this to when we finally got the Miami monkey off our back in '93. That to me will probably always be, the biggest home game
Right.
in the season win. But remember, I was a very impressionable young man at that point.
Vince, you're still an impressionable young man. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I appreciate that. We got another super chat here. Come on, Mr. C. More Big 8. Go Noles and Marching Chiefs. I have an idea who this is. Thank you for the super chat. Gets us, one more toward the goal here. I'm pretty sure I know who that is. I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. We should find some time to get together.
Vince, I need to show one thing on the screen, just real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And it's important to me that everyone know. What do you think about that, Vince?
Wait a minute. Is this what you cashed that in?
That was my winnings from me betting on Florida State straight up for the win. So it got deposited in the old checking account. That is how much I won by Florida State beating Alabama.
For those of you that like to play the odds, Mr. Ryan has basically filled the coffers in order for your renovations at the new home you've got.
Yeah, definitely not filled, but replenished.
Replenished the coffers. Good for you, man. Good for you for putting your money where your mouth is, where your heart is. A lot of people won't do that. So Ryan, are you going this weekend?
No.
Can we get a booing? Can we get a booing audio?
So let me describe what my plan is.
To never go to another game.
No. So for those of you who don't, I want to fill in the audience. I am renovating. A member of our family died last year, so I can get a little sympathy from there. But left us an old farm property, 3 acres. And as you would imagine, sometimes those
In the
houses
state of Georgia.
are a little derelict, let's say. It's rough shape.
Is there an outhouse?
No, I wish there was. I wish it was like. In fact, I wanted to put a Shroot Farm sign out, but my wife vetoed.
Yeah.
And I wanted to run alongside any vehicles that pull into the property, like Moe's. But the amount of money that it will take to get this livable, which we plan on living in it, is deep. And so what happens is I work all week, and then we drive up. And then we get like 1 out of 100 items checked off our list on things that need to get accomplished that we thought we could check off 3 in 3 days. But 1, you get halfway through and then you end up in like YouTube video hell of like, I'm clearly not doing this right. How do you do this? And so that's where we're at. However, I'm going to commit to one thing, Vince, that I'm going to make a heartfelt promise that, and I will not miss.
I will not hard rock bet this, but go ahead.
You should, because it involves a team that likes to play in the Hard Rock. I will be at the Miami game, the Miami home game, because if there's any chance at me recreating the vibe for that Alabama game, it would be, don't go look on StubHub right now. Those tickets are selling as hot, if not hotter, FYI, than the Alabama game.
Yeah.
If Miami doesn't fumble it against USF or Florida or anything else, you could be looking at a top 10 matchup, potentially game day there, nighttime game in Doak. Because wouldn't you say, Vince, that was the only thing missing? If there's a perfect game, that if that Alabama game had been a 7:30 kick.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been. It was bonkers already, Ryan. I mean, for people to say it's the loudest they've ever heard it, I don't doubt that people think that. It was unbelievably loud. Crazy loud.
Chris, I'm going to contact you now. That's what I'm going to do.
So all the people that, thought that because of the renovations and the reduction in seating that it wouldn't be loud. I've not heard much louder. There may have been some louder games, but not by much. Not in my opinion. It was crazy bonkers. Being at nighttime, the only thing you get out of that is a little more spiciness from people for drinking all day.
Yeah, especially against Miami. Miami, we were excited to play Alabama, but you don't have the lifelong hatred like you do playing Miami.
Yeah, and the other thing you don't get though by a 7:30 kick is like after the game, your boy went out afterward, went to College Town, had some drinks.
If we beat Miami, being undefeated in the top 10, come on, man!
And at 1 a.m, maybe. I guess maybe that.
You did it after New Orleans, right? You went to Bourbon Street.
It's kind of tough to give that up because you don't get there very often. But yeah, you may be right about that. Parker, what did you do after the game?
Got on the field.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got next to Earl Little. Told him he played great. I think the highest PFF graded player on the team, if I'm not mistaken. Really high tackle rate. So did Ashlyn Barker. I don't feel like people didn't talk about him as much, but he played really well. But after the game, went home and watched the LSU Clemson game. Since I was still awake. But I intended to drive home after the game, expecting a result that wouldn't be fun. So when that changed, I was kind of like, I kind of want to stay here a little longer.
Yeah.
Totally understand that, man.
It was crazy. It was mayhem down on the field. Absolute mayhem. I love it. I'm gonna
save my random topic because we're doing so well tonight. But for next week, I do want to discuss next week, Vince. Jordan Travis comments that for the last year and a half of being at Florida State, that he just stopped watching film, and that's when he started playing better. That was my favorite tidbit that I heard today.
I haven't heard that
on his podcast. He said that he was so in his head about watching all the film and here the safety's here and they should be here, and then he would get in the game and they wouldn't do that, and he would be like, man, I'm overthinking this. And then he told the coaches, he said, like, after the Notre Dame game, I'm not going to watch film. Just let me go out there and play football. And he did from that point on.
Love it. That's pretty cool. So we can talk about that next week. I'm going to give away 5 memberships right now. You have to be on YouTube to get them. So if you're not there, get there right now. I sent the link out already, so you should already be there. 5 memberships going right now, and it's random. So whoever gets them. We cannot force the issue there. So who we got? Let's go. All right, we got JJ75. Welcome to Garnet and Old membership. We've got Daniel Gorby, who is a longtime watcher of the show. Congratulations. Sam8911SK. I'm going to skip one because for some reason it gave me one. That's ridiculous. And
congratulations, Vince.
Tempest also got one. I'm not even logged into YouTube.
For all you new members out there that just got a membership, unlike last Friday where I did a public stream on Friday night, tomorrow, members only, 7 o'clock, Big Papa East joint.
In the recliner.
In the recliner
in Georgia.
No, I'll be here until Saturday. I'm going to be driving immediately following the game up to the property. My wife starts her new job Monday, so we're trying to make that a good experience. But Vince, one thing I do want to say about the Friday night, that graphic, first of all, it's my new favorite. I'm going to reuse it for all my Friday solos. Me and the recliner, it's pretty accurate. Yeah. And then I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff. Friday night members only is not just about Florida State. It can be about other teams. I hope I get to talk about the Dallas Cowboys looking awful tonight. That's what I'm going to do right after I get off this stream. And then we got, as I do more solos, I'm going to talk some NFL. I'm an NFL fan too. I know, Vince, you're not so much in the NFL game, but I'm a Jaguars guy. Also, side hustle, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, different divisions, so it's fine. But the Jaguars, man, let's see what Travis Hunter's got. So I'm excited that football is back, that it's all encompassing, and that you can always find it.
Yeah. I'm excited that the season's starting. Like I said, I don't have a lot of passion, a lot of energy left on a Sunday, but I do pay attention to it. It's just not my main thing. Parker's main thing is analytics and knowing figuring out what the right thing to do is in the most confusing situations for a staff. If you guys liked this segment on the show tonight, let us know that. Put it in the chat or reach out to us on X. We want to have Parker on more, and we want to make sure we're fine-tuning this thing down to the things that people really kind of enjoy. Maybe you learn a little something. Maybe it changes the way you've always thought about, the way a game should be called. But if you've enjoyed that, let us know. Let Parker know, and we're definitely going to have him back on the show. Guess where your boys going to be, Ryan, this Saturday?
In Doak Campbell.
Yeah, but where in Doak Campbell, my friend?
Oh, yeah. So you, Vince, texted me today, which
right
I'm very
place,
happy
right time.
For you.
Right place, right time.
Yep. You texted me, you just happened to refresh at the right time and snagged the brand new area on the West Stands. What are they calling it again, that new area? Are you on the very bottom, like where you're like basically on the field?
I'm not on the field, right at the field, but I am on the right behind the patio. Got it for ridiculously low amount of money. When I saw it, I thought my eyes were totally shot when I saw the number. So your boy's going to be in the West Sideline Club. Probably the only time I'll ever get in there. So I'm excited about that. The wife is excited about that as well.
And to give Parker his last his last kudos. Parker can be, if you're a coaching staff in need of analytics, Parker can be your best friend on your worst day as a coaching staff. Parker, for one last time, just thank you for coming on the show and giving us unintelligent, non-data people a refreshing view at the deep dives of football and what the football gods have brought us as a wonderful, wonderful friend and coworker here in Parker.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. Always a lot of fun.
And really, it was just an excuse to play.
What do you think about this weekend, Parker?
What do I think
about this weekend? Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, are you asking for like a score prediction or like?
Yeah, give me a score prediction.
I've always felt like this coaching staff with Norvell at the top has been kind of understanding and is not going to run the score up like you might see other teams do. So,
right.
I think they used to be called Texas A&M Commerce, and that's what I referred to them to with years of working in FCS games. But now they're East Texas A&M, just so people know for sure. They didn't play that bad. I mean, they got blown out, but I mean, they held it close a little bit against SMU. I was kind of keeping an eye on that game. They just had a couple of pick sixes that kind of inflated the score the other direction. So I don't think I don't think they're that bad as far as FCS teams go. So I'll say like a 45-7 game.
Okay. I'll take it.
And just so everyone's clear, the Kent State matchup is even more of a lopsided likely matchup than East Texas A&M because I'm not an analytics guy, Parker, but Kent State should be an easy game.
Yeah, it's nice to have a couple of easier non-conference games this season, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they still made an attempt to schedule difficult though, opening with Alabama though. So it's not like they were opening. It's not like they picked like 3 kind of cupcake non-conference games that some.
Well, they have to because SEC teams play a difficult schedule every week.
The gauntlet.
Yeah, the gauntlet. So
awesome. Thanks, Parker. Play them out, Ryan.
I really enjoy that music, Vince. It's got something to it that. Did you change the audio from last year?
No, that's the same one. We just haven't heard it in a long time. We had no reason to bring Parker in last season at all. I mean, zero reason. But we should have brought him in anyway. We're not going to use him just for his mind. I like to imagine
that analytics firms, whoever, I have no idea who does what for what team, but analytics firms in general just handed Florida State a sheet last year that just said no.
Just said, don't do it. Whatever you're thinking about doing, don't do it.
Yeah. Oh, man, what a good show, though, Vince. Of course, we don't have inside info. We do have streaming problems, no contacts, no problems. But, Vince, it has been a pleasure. It's a bask in the glory, guys. Dance to the war chant. Enjoy it this weekend. Another win. It will be a glorious time to see some backups. I can't wait to see more chroma. That's what I'm looking forward to most in this game. Mm-hmm. So, Vince, you're gonna have to do some live, maybe a live stream from your seats in the stadium. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be great. Maybe we'll get some signal to be able to do that. That would be awesome. Thank you, Captain Black, as usual, for sponsoring us. I didn't get to a lot of your notes tonight because we had Parker on for quite a bit. But I appreciate you sending me these things, and if you want to keep doing it, we will reference them. So I appreciate that and appreciate your support of the show. Don't forget, everybody, that we will be streaming this Skull Session on Saturday at 9:45-ish a.m. So if you can't get to Doak, if you can't get to Tally, and you want to be part of the vibe, tune into that. It's on our YouTube channel. That only goes to YouTube, by the way. It doesn't stream to any of the other platforms. Ryan?
Don't forget, I'll be live tomorrow at 7 for a members only feed, and we will be doing at some point Saturday morning I combine the two, to be determined, a pregame little short show before the big matchup this weekend, and then of course a post-game reaction, which I will be hosting, and then Vince will be joining in after the game. So join us this weekend. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I'm excited, Vince. I'm excited for you to get those seats. Just enjoy it, man.
Before everybody leaves, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do me a solid. Helps us out a lot. We appreciate everybody watching the show. Send Chiefs all the damn time, Ryan. That's what we do.
Go Noles, as always. Let's be East, West, Northeast, South, Texas A&M. Go Noles.
Go Noles.